Hey, everybody, hello. I have been away for quite some time, and that's because I'm unemployed currently, and I have to find a way how to approach that situation. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be sitting like this, completely straight. My back is gonna be straight because I have a back pain. And that might be related to the stress or bad posture during the sleeping, and well, probably also the heat, which currently is here in the UK. Oh, it's very uncomfortable to sleep, and it's just horrible. But it doesn't matter. Because of my back pain, I'm gonna be here at this position, which is kind of weird, but I have to keep my back straight. So I wanted to talk about the unemployment issue and how it is these days out there. And for everybody who doesn't know, like for example, parents of people who are looking for work or just people who have work and have no idea how it is. It is really bad. I can confirm that. You send so many applications, you don't hear back. Most of the time, my success rate is like 97%. 97 of empty applications somewhere sent into the void, and 3% of application which actually yields some success in the terms of an interview, but no job. Why it is like that? Well, my personal opinion, I was obviously reading and watching some videos and trying to kind of make sense of it, is that currently the capital is too expensive. So companies are trying to save money, meaning they don't hire, they stopped hiring, they put the work they have to employees they have. They outsource people from third world countries, or they just try to eliminate the expenses so they do not hire. And if they hire people who are best for them. And that doesn't mean that the necessarily the best person, with the good education, experience, etc. But the best person for them means probably the cheapest in some cases with enough of knowledge so they can create value. Also, in other cases, it could be people they know already. So not strange people completely, but people referred to the company or people they know. It could be many things, really. And it is also especially hard for foreigners like me to find a job. Certain demographies, you know, they have huge difficulties to find jobs just because you are not English. And talking about me, my experiences, for example, like it's like a scattered across different kind of things and fields. I used to work in sales, used to work in entertainment industry. Um, I studied law. I have some experience in legal services. I have some experience in HR, especially human relations. I have experience as in customer service as a receptionist or a customer service representative. Sales, what else? Operations. Well, in my experience, it's kind of scattered. So when I'm applying for a jobs, I have to like spread myself to too many different positions because my CV is not clear in terms of like that boring ideal candidate. You hiring, for example, for a HR assistant, and that person has in their CV HR assistant last 2 years, previous years HR assistant. and previous year's HR assistant. So it's basically that boring, secure hire, which cannot possibly go wrong in terms of knowledge and experience because that particular person was already working in that particular field for many, many years. So unless this is your case and you have really 10 years of experience, you will have a difficulty. And also, people who are trying to change professions and transfer to a different field, those people find it very hard. Even English people, then graduates, of course, people without experience. From my personal experience so far, from interviews I had, I was overqualified. Everything was like nice, nice, nice. And then when we closed the laptop, next day I got, I'm sorry, but I think you would be not bored in this job, but you would probably be more suitable to other jobs. I don't think so, but yeah, I was probably too eager, or I was like showing too much enthusiasm or experience. I don't know. In another job, I was underqualified, or there was somebody more closely aligned with the with the job they were hiring for. Other um, absolutely horrible experiences I had. Some when I was interviewing for sales. No, that was not good. The assessment centers and you go through many stages and then you're still not good enough. I remember one very silly assessment job for, I'm not gonna name the companies, but it was assessment center for just the Christmas period of sales. And I was the first one called out, and they asked me a question: what is the difference between good customer service and great customer service? And I did answer to my best possible knowledge, and they said, "Thank you very much. You can go." Yeah, wow. Then I saw who they actually hired, and they hired young, very young, like 20 something English young girls. I'm not 20 something English young girl. So it's probably, that was that. Yeah, I have experience, of course, these emails you have, everybody got like, thank you very much, but we chose a person closely aligned with blah, blah, blah. I'm not taking this personally anymore because through a certain time I've been applying, I have realized how it is. And that I cannot influence that. And then these companies are looking for their best candidate. Some companies are just not looking at the moment, but still interviewing, trying to collect data or interviewing, and they have somebody out there aligned for the position. Some jobs are, of course, non-existent. I personally was once like collected by an agency for a legal assistant. And I came to the agency. They asked me for my passport and all documentations about me, about my education, etc. And then they collected it, and that was it. you know, then nobody contacted me back and offered me anything. So they just collected my personal details for the agency selling purposes. And they obviously didn't sell me because they didn't contacted me. But they don't tell you that. That was quite a long time ago. It was my mistake on my part that I went through that. But it is pretty unfair, I'll tell you that. Some agencies are crazy. People are calling you with jobs which are not even paying properly, jobs which are like for a couple of days, and jobs which are very questionable, is just like a nightmare, really. And to be honest, I had, because I'm not applying just here, I'm also trying to kind of map the environment back home where I come from. I had more success there. While here, I was just no, thank you, no, thank you. I actually got four opportunities back home, and one was a legal assistant, one was working in sales, one was event organizer, and one was a recruiter for a tech company. Yeah. So the only, the only thing still holding me here was like my partner, who is not from my country, and the kind of like the vision that something will happen and I'll get some job, and I'll get back on track and try to save some more money. That is not happening right now. And it's very hard to, and I feel for every single person out there who is going through this. Please do not think this is you uh, who is wrong somehow or who is not enough somehow. It is really up to those companies. They are not clear. Sometimes even them don't know who exactly they want. And entry jobs disappeared completely. Hello. And the jobs are not there anymore. Everything requires experience, and where are you supposed to get that experience, right? I was recently sending email. I sent an email to one gallery. I'm not gonna again say the name, to a certain person, asking for internship, and that was just like unpaid, of course. They would pay me for food and for travel, but not for work. And they were hiring, you can say hiring people for up to 3 months, which is a long time to commit without income. But I said, okay, I'll try this because I'm currently studying Chinese works of art, and let's try this to work in this kind of department. Well, it's been 14 days. I heard nothing. Like, even not even like, sorry, we currently don't have any opportunities. Nothing, like nada. No email, no confirmation even about they received the email, nothing. Uh, it's horrible because what you have to do, and I feel for absolutely everybody, you have to find yourself a job you think you could do, right? So you find that, then you try to find out on the top of that if that job is real, meaning you go to the company, and if the job is not there, you not apply for that. That's a waste of time. If the job is there, you kind of, it's like almost like a 50-50. Maybe they still hire, maybe they do not hire anymore for it. Who knows? You say, okay, I like it, I think I could do it. You apply. The application is not that easy. You have to tailor your story, your CV with keywords, right? Because you don't know if it's going to the ATS, through the ATS, or if it's going to be read by a person. By the way, I currently applied to a company only with 5 people, and it didn't receive anything, any response, which is so rude. From 5 people, you cannot apply to a person. I'm sure that not many people knew about this job. So yeah, where was I? So you go through those keywords, you change your CV, then you construct a cover letter saying how excited you are, to work over there. but you don't know how it is there. You can read the job description, which is sometimes too long, and you, you say how enthusiastic you are, thinking on the side in your brain, oh, they not gonna respond anyway. So you send it, and then you thinking like, finally, you spend like 2 hours behind the computer, and then one day, 1 week, 2 weeks passes, and nothing. So it is really crazy. So I had more success back home, and the question is in the air, really, like maybe I should have gone for it. The last offer was to work as a recruiter. I have some experience from HR, mostly from employee relations cases, where I was using my legal knowledge a little bit, advising people, etc. Yes, I did participate on some recruiting and onboarding, but this was recruiting for IT. And I was just wondering how I'm gonna do it. I am not IT specialist. Probably there would be like me initial stage, and then some people behind me, like person next to me, asking those specific questions. But I would definitely have to go a little bit inside that IT world and learn stuff. But it was okay opportunity. It was a full-time job and on site, so not remote at all. It's a little bit shame because the person who was leaving the job was leaving for the exact reason, because it was on site, and the owners didn't want to able somebody work at least a couple of days from home, which is currently kind of normal in HR profession. In my past employment, I haven't seen a HR person for 3 months. Well, it's crazy. Yeah, let's say that. So really, my understanding goes to all these people who are struggling right now. You are not alone. It's the system. It's the current situation. There are just not enough jobs, and those jobs who are available are becoming quite demanding because of the technology development. You need to know more programs, more systems. You need to know more about perhaps controlling some teams, or outsourcing, or contacting people. Depends, of course, what you are doing, but what's your profession. But yeah, it's quite hard. Yeah. So, jeez, I have to straight up my back. Um, so what I wanted to say, how I am tackling the unemployment. Well, it takes a little bit of time because you are used to that working process. You wake up, full clothes on, everything is rushed. You travel, you go to work, you do your work. You come home, sometimes with a little bit of headache, as far as I remember, from certain jobs, and and that's it. And the months passes you, and you get your salary. So that is your duty, go to work and arrive from work and do that work you're supposed to do over there. That's it. You don't have to stress out about anything else. So in some case, if you are, let's say, in your role, if you have been there for a while, it might be kind of comfortable and almost easy way. You do your stuff, at the end of the month, you get a salary. My last year of employment looked absolutely crazy. I had 3 jobs in 1 year, and that's because a lot of people overhired, and then they decided to let people go. I was my first company. They overhired, and then they decided they're not gonna need those beautiful offices anymore, and they will let people redundant, even their previous employees. I was going to. My second role, and I would like to go back a little bit in this role. The interview stage was three stage, and it took 2 months and a half. Yeah, I was working there a couple of months, and then finito. And then I was unemployed, and then I was looking for a job. I sent my CV through my boyfriend to his working place, and they hired me without interview, just based on my CV, which was very nice. I was very happy. So they hired me. I basically had a job in 2 days. First day I was unemployed. The second day I was already employed, and that was the best employment in that particular field I was working on I ever had. People over there, it was a little bit luxurious place. People over there knew what was that field about. They were all professionals and very experienced. And they wanted to make it nice and fair and nice environment. And they managed. It was a new company, new beautiful building, not new building, but it used to be a house actually in a Mayfair, a very luxurious place. Beautiful. I mean, inside it was nice. I mean, I was going to toilet, which was washed in my ass for me. It was nice. I have nice fond memories of that toilet. Um, okay, let's go back to so this company. It's my cat. This company, unfortunately, was private, and the guy decided to close it. And then I went to a third employment, and again, I was hired within a week, really. One interview, that's it. What's up, Romeo? What's up? I don't know why he's meowing, and I gave him food already. Hello. And that third, as far as it was a startup, and as far as I entered that company, I knew it's not gonna be good. There were so many things wrong over there, like even going to the health and safety issues. And I left. And since then, I was not able to find anything else. So, how do I tackle the unemployment? Well, first of all, as I've been already saying, you come from a different system. You are in a different kind of world. Now you don't have that income at the end of the month. So it is hard. I was applying for some time, and then I realized how bad is this job market. And then it hit me that I need to not to be just applying, but also secure some kind of income for myself. Well, there was like a no question about it. So my absolutely first thought was, okay, I'm gonna sell something on eBay. I gathered all my stuff I didn't need anymore, and I because I like cleaning and sorting things out and getting rid of the stuff I don't need. I like that actually. It was easy thing. So I put some things on eBay. It sold. Usually after me, all things kind of look like new. So that was the easy thing to do. Also, during my time, I curated, actually, could say, some luxury items, like, for example, luxury Christmas decorations from Wedgwood. They are not anymore available. They are, you can say, collectible, and I sold all of them. I completely changed my view what I want to decorate my Christmas tree with. I decided I'm gonna go for very simplistic paper decorations. No, hello. And I decided I'm gonna sell this, and one bubble was selling really like for 60, 70 pounds, while I paid for it like 25, maximum 30 pounds at the beginning. So actually a profit. And then I hit it, the thing the amount of things I was selling kind of like dried out, you know. Like I don't have that many things. And it kind of daunted on me. What is the next step? And I was thinking, perhaps I'm going to need actually start buying and selling. And I did allow myself to dream. And what I mean by that, like if you are in that kind of, constant pressure and circus around you, like you apply for jobs, you're struggling financially, you have to, as I have to, of course, cook, clean, all the things. But I produce value, that's for sure. But I'm not paid for that. This is the value, I produce for our, our family in our environment. But if I want to go and buy something, I can't. So I decided I'm going to start to buy and sell. Not just through eBay, but I decided that the best thing for me would be actually to have like a, not even a shop, but create a brand. And brand with what? Well, that was not that difficult for me because my favorite thing is always browsing homeware. And what I think, if what I what I mean by homeware, it's not your usual IKEA style homeware or anything like that. It's like more like a luxurious, going towards antiques, most likely. I love porcelain, blue and white. I love silverware. I love wooden and iron trays. I love tapestries, carpets, wooden furniture. This is like a luxurious items, even nice stationery is great, something like that. So I decided it's not gonna be just shop, meaning I would buy anything from, let's say, I found a cheap toothbrush, electric toothbrush, and I would sell uh, electric toothbrush because it's a popular item. No, I was going for an items I believe in and I love and are homeware or decorative arts. And I have certain rules before I would go and buy something. It has to be made from quality material, natural material. I'm not buying anything plastic and not polyester, nothing like that. It would have to be paper, wood, porcelain. It would have to be organic. It would have to be functional, aesthetically beautiful and interesting, good quality, timeless. Definitely not fast fashion or you know fast, quickly made, fast production, machine made, preferably handmade items and hand decorated items. Just something which you would see in antique shop, something which survives you, something which with value for an environment and beauty. That's it. So I was thinking homeware. I was thinking that, well, in that whole pool of homeware, one thing stuck as I thought I'm gonna start with porcelain. Well, a funny thing is that when I was like 21 year old, um, I got a job selling porcelain and glass, and kind of stuck with me a little bit. The porcelain was not the best out there, but it was nice. It was handmade, some of it, and I kind of learned the some brands, production, how it's decorated, etc., etc. History. Yeah, so that was nice. So I was thinking I'm gonna start with porcelain. I have obviously brands out there which I admire, I like, although they are not perfect. I realized that by studying something about porcelain. And so yeah, I decided I go for this. And my two ways of doing this was going and going to buy and sell new, or going to buy and sell old, meaning antique. And for especially for an antique, you need to have some knowledge. You definitely can go and buy things you like, and you don't need anything else as a customer, as a final person. You just buy what you like, what speaks to you, what is nice to you, what enriches you. So that's fine, but if you like me want to enter that profession, you need to know something about it. So I started to study Chinese and Japanese works of art. And wow, it is so nice. I don't know how to say, but this is exactly me. I like it. I do study it properly. I go, I went to the very beginning, to the Neolithic era, actually. So the whole process when discover the first piece of porcelain to the basically the last pre-modern porcelain. I concentrate on Chinese because Chinese are the masters of porcelain. The most beautiful pieces are from China, 13th to 17th century, my personal taste. And Japan is also valuable to know. Porcelain from Arita and Imari porcelain. Imari, by the way, is just a port. Uh, it's not a town. So in the history, they were going to Imari, pick up the porcelain over there, and we're calling that porcelain Imari. But the Imari is not nothing really else than just the name of the port. But yeah, so I'm studying the Chinese porcelain. I'm going through different dynasties. Of course, everything is concentrated in Jindajian, which is the city where the porcelain was made during all these dynasties, like a center of porcelain production. I study about porcelain, how it's made. For all people out there who are a little bit confused about the terms, the general term is pottery, because there was a person who was a potter. So the potter is making pottery, and you have like a four types of pottery. Let's say you have a fritware that's not very well known. Let's not go out there, but then you have the three main, and you have earthenware, you have stoneware, and then you have porcelain. And porcelain is the most durable one. It's fired to the highest temperatures, around 13 up to 1400 degrees, and it's not porous. So it can go to a dishwasher. You can put very hot food on it. You can go through a lot and will not be damaged. So the best thing you can actually have is a porcelain tableware, because earthenware is not that great. I mean, there are very popular pieces, especially in England. For example, the Burley pottery. I love those plates. I have from them, but they are earthenware, and they are even glazed, they are still porous. And yes, they sell them as they can go to a dishwasher, but if you put them through the dishwasher, they will, after a couple of years, might crack. And there is a lot to know about porcelain and how it's made and how difficult it's to make. So yes, I'm studying everything about that, all the dynasties. It's so interesting, so nice. I love history. It would be definitely my first thing to study if I would have had a choice in my life. Because I come from a small town, very difficult to go and study what would you like from all those possibilities. You have to choose what is available right there over there. So I would go for art or history, but that was not possible. So here I have plenty of history. I absolutely love it. And I also purchased, of course, how else would I study if I wouldn't purchase some books? Oh, I have to straighten my back again. I could potentially make um some kind of recommendation for books about porcelain in other video. So my journey is going this direction. I'm still unemployed, still looking for a job, still applying, let's say, to my field of knowledge, like things about HR or some sales, possibly, you know, closer to legal. But, now I'm very careful about legal assistance because uh, that job is not very promising because of the AI. The AI is a powerful tool and can literally help you with those things I would be doing as a legal assistant in many cases. So that's a little bit of tricky. Recruiting also will be, I think, changed a little bit in, let's say, 5 years because of the AI. So I need to like think very well and very carefully which way to go. But on the side, for me, for my personal, like a mini security, I'm doing this. Studying porcelain and carefully choosing products new and old for resale. And I probably should make another video if you are trying to, for real, trying to establish your own brand. This is not easy thing to do. It's just, buying and selling through eBay is one thing, but eBay is not really ab about craft and beautiful things to sell. eBay is more like second-hand items and can actually damage your products a little bit. I also don't want to sell through Etsy because Etsy is absolutely crazy. Plus, also you have to pay a lot of money to to have your product over there. So I decided I'm gonna go through Instagram at the beginning, and then I would have my website. And like it's hard. It's not easy. You have to think about how your brand would, what would your brand would sell, how about the name, register the name, trademark, right? Then you have to kind of test the products first, see if there is any response to that, and you go from there. And I was actually considering many things, not just the porcelain or homeware stuff, but I was even thinking about pajama because I have a great difficulty to find some nice pajamas. So possibly having that, but then I am very well aware that you go to a factory, you give them the sample, they will send you you give them, sorry, not the sample, but the informations about the thing you want. And then they will send you samples and they look nice. Then you order, and then what's coming doesn't match the original sample. I mean, it's not that easy to do business these days. And also, you need customers for it, right? So if there's gonna be many people struggling to find income, then it's already crushing a little bit down the power of people for spending. The power to spend is going down a little bit. People are very reluctant to spend because the prices are going up and everything. So yeah, that's how I tackle the unemployment. And it's not fun. If this would go for me well, and I would keep working on that, well, I don't have any problem to keep working on that. But uh, if this would go well, as you never know, that would be nice. Something I could do till the rest of my life. Uh, because you work for somebody and everything is fine, and they like you and you like them if you are super happy and super lucky, sorry, and one day something happened to the company and they decide, well, we go this way and we don't need you anymore. And then what? Right. Then there are other things like age discrimination, other discriminations. Yeah, it's not certain. It's not how it used to be. And everything with that technology development is completely flying fast forward, and it's changing everything very fast, and sometimes it's hard to orientate in it, to get some kind of sense in it, and there is absolutely no security or permanency or some kind of insurance, mm, yeah. So this is my way. I mean, I wonder how you are tackling your unemployment, if you try something on the side or offering your services or freelancing, or I don't know, maybe maybe you do. I would appreciate if people will let me know. It also would be nice to hear that somebody understands, somebody has the similar, you know, problems. And yeah, so I guess we just keep applying, but especially in the big cities, it's tragic because there's so many people who can apply online, right? The whole world, basically. So yeah. Well, that would be enough for me, as I would like to probably finish with over here my actual purchase of one porcelain piece. This is a contemporary piece, contemporary porcelain piece. You can say contemporary art. This is how it looks at the bottom. This is the mark, and this is how it looks. I like these ladies because they are ladies. I mean, I was choosing between some kind of sculpture. Animals were very nice, like lions, horses. Then I saw this ladies, the person actually, right? And it just kind of feels different. They are women, so that feels very feminine to me, and they are large enough to be noticed. They are blue and white, meaning they go with every environment around, and they are done pretty well. They are not done to perfection. It's like a more loose style of things, but look at the face. The face, as you can see, is unglazed. There's no glaze. This shiny thing over here is a glaze. Same here. And these ladies are dressed like ladies would be during the Qing dynasty, which was basically the last dynasty before China became a republic. And I know that because of this hairpiece was a thing which they were wearing during that period. It's called Liang Batou, and it's special for that particular dynasty. This would be a Manchu woman, yeah, because they thought with Ming dynasty and they won the Manchu. So yeah, so this kind of creates this like a beautiful like isn't this nice? Like a little corner for me, you know? Probably the light is rubbish and it's over lit it by light and you can't see very well, but yeah, it's important to create a nice environment. Uh, don't give up your exercise, your rest, your nice environment, cleanliness, and eating well and try to sleep well, even if you are stressed. I wish you good luck. And um, in my last video, I made my last video 6 months ago, and there was one lady who gave me a comment, and I'm saying hello to that lady, and then some guy who also gave me a comment, and I'm saying hello to that guy, mm, or a girl, I don't know. But I have like 6 videos on YouTube. I'm not really like publicly speaking much. And these were the very first people who commented my videos. So I'd say very much hello and have a good time supporting everybody who is currently looking for a job. Good luck to you. And I perhaps make another video about something related to it or other things. Who knows? Bye bye.